One of the most known sports video games in the world is Epic's California Games. First developed for the Apple II and Commodore 64 in 1987. It went on to being one of the most widely ported sports games of its time, with more than 300,000 copies sold in the first 9 months. We'll start with the Apple II version. This original version features 6 events, which are the flying disc, footbag, BMX, surfing, roller skating, and the half pipe. Controlling each event is an event in itself. Some can be intuitive, such as the flying disc, but other events, such as the half pipe, are really difficult to master. I have no idea how to keep the momentum going without looking in the manual. Surfing is also a tricky one. You need to master the speed and angle at which you leave and enter the water to be successful. So yeah, California Games isn't truly a pick up and play game, as you'll need to master each event to be any good at them. As to be expected, the Commodore 64 release is the same as the Apple II, since they were developed together. However, this version is far more polished in the graphics department, and features music in some of the events while actually performing them. The Apple II version only plays a jingle at the beginning of each event. The game is also more playable on the C64 thanks to the more responsive controls and cleaner presentation, allowing you to see what you are doing. However, the actual control system is the same, and yes, it really takes some time to master how to play each event. California Games also made its way onto other 8-bit home computers, such as the ZX Spectrum here. Problem is, I can't get it to load. So on to the Amstrad CPC port, which is a ZX Spectrum port judging from the menus. I'm just going to come straight out and say that this port is shit. While it may be colourful, the graphics are crude in many areas, and the sound is practically non-existent. Oh, and man, the playability is also just as non-existent. Half the time, the controls just do their own thing, while at others, they'll do nothing or are extremely laggy. Yep, make no mistake, California Games on the Amstrad CPC is a steaming turd. Oh, and look, here is the MSX version, also coded by choice, the same numbnuts behind the ZX Spectrum and Amstrad ports. And guess what? This bloody doesn't work either. No loss, I'm sure, as it would have sucked big time. Okay, let's take a rest from the computers for a bit and take a look at some console ports, starting with the NES version. This port was developed by Rare. Now everyone always raves on about Rare, but did you know that they are responsible for many of the crappy LGN release games, as well as many other subpar NES games? Yes, it's true. So how does this port of California Games stack up to all the others so far? Well, not bad actually. In many events the controls have been improved, with more fluidity, but there's still some iffy collision detection when it comes to the BMX section, and the half pipe is still next to impossible to understand. So Nintendo had Rare, but Sega had Mark Cerny develop the Master System port. Yep, it's same Mark Cerny behind many PlayStation hardware choices, as well as developer of many games. So how is this port of California Games? Only the best so far. This looks far nicer than the NES version, features loads of parallax scrolling, and plays even better, making good use of 2 buttons. Even the half-pipe section is a little easier, but still very tricky to fully understand. Next up we have a very colourful Atari 2600 version. Now this particular version of California Games only contains the footbag, half-pipe, BMX and surfing stages, but the way they are all done on the 2600 is pretty good. I love how the BMX stage resembles some super early Excitebike prototype, and how is often the case with Atari 2600 games, this is rather playable. Next up is the Mega Drive port, developed by NovaTrade, who are now known as Appaloosa Interactive. This is not a good thing, as this company is well known for making a lot of crap, as well as getting lucky with franchises such as Echo the Dolphin. So how is their port of California Games? Well, if I'm to be honest, it's underwhelming. For a start, the flying disc event has been removed. The presentation is ugly, and the music is that typical gems sounding crap. The game does allow for a few tweaks though, such as changing the gravity in the footbag section or the speed of the waves on the surfing event, but that's about it. As for how it plays, well, pretty much like all the other ports. Developed by Westwood Associates, this is the Amiga port. Clearly based upon the original game and not redesigned like the Mega Drive version. This is clearly the superior one. Unlike the Amiga version, the Atari ST port is developed by the same numbnuts who did the specky Amstrad and MSX versions. Yep, choice. While this version looks nice, it plays like crap. The controls are all wrong. The Amiga game plays much better than this one. MS-DOS time now with this reasonable port that features 8 different screen modes. We're taking a look at the VGA mode here. If I had to compare this to any other version so far, I'd say it's most like the Apple II GS, although this doesn't sound anywhere near as good. It does play very much like it though. Have I saved the best till last? This is the Atari Lynx port that was also a packing game with many Atari Lynx consoles. Sadly, the Lynx version only contains 4 events. Missing are the flying disc and roller skating. Out of the 4 events left, each is developed by an individual, so the quality is a mixed bag for sure. Personally, I think the surfing is the best, but for some reason you surf to the left on the Lynx version. I also like how the half pipe features zooming. The controls are also a little easier and you can move into and from the background. Very nice, but I still suck at this event. As a bonus, let's take a look at California Games X for Java-based mobile phones. This is a lame excuse of a game. Basically, it plays itself and all you need to do is press directions in time. Even if you don't press anything, the game will still pull off the required move, just that you'll get no points. The game features 4 of the original events, being surfing, skating, halfpipe and BMX. It also includes 2 new events, which are breakdancing and rock climbing. And let's take a look at all those versions of California Games running side by side.